Today, we're really getting into something vital for, well, connecting with people, making those great first impressions, and just as importantly, keeping conversations alive. And we're drawing our insights from mastering English conversations, which is less about strict grammar and more about the practical side of communicating well.
Exactly. And our aim here isn't just to tick off a list of tips. It's about understanding why these things work. We want to equip you with real tools, practical things you can use in any situation, work, meeting neighbors, social stuff, you name it, give you that confidence.
Okay, so let's jump right in. That very first moment you meet someone, it's about more than just the first words you exchange, isn't it? Something else is happening almost instantly.
Oh, absolutely. People often underestimate how much nonverbal communication sets the stage, really, before you even say hello. Take your facial expression and stance. A real smile, one that, reaches your eyes, and standing confidently, openly, it doesn't just make you look friendly, it actually signals safety to the other person, makes them relax. The guide mentions a Mr. Kamal. He walked into a room of strangers, apparently, and just instantly made people feel comfortable. It wasn't only his warm voice. It was that genuine warmth in his smile, his relaxed posture. It just broke the ice immediately.
That's interesting. So it's the whole package, not just a plastered-on smile.
Precisely. And your overall body language backs this up. Standing straight, not crossing your arms, making eye contact, not staring, obviously, but just comfortable looking. It shows you're engaged. Like the example of Daniel. He struggled at first because he'd look away, which can come across as, well, maybe untrustworthy or just disinterested. But learning to just hold his head up, meet someone's gaze, smile a little, it totally changed how people saw him. It signals openness.
Okay. And appearance, does that really matter that much?
Well, it's not about being fashionable or anything. It's about looking clean, neat. It conveys respect, seriousness. There's a story about Amina at an interview. Her simple, tidy dress and just her calm way of sitting there, it made a strong impression, even before she spoke much.
Right.
Showed she respected the opportunity.
Right. It sends a message of preparedness. So that's the nonverbal side. But then we do start talking. What about the verbal communication right at the start?
Ah, yes. The power of simple, polite words is huge. Please. Thank you. Excuse me. They're not just niceties. They actually work psychologically. They signal a bit of humility, respect for the other person. Like the young man in the shop example, just asking politely, "Hello, ma'am, how can I help you today?" It framed it as help, not just a sale. Made the customer feel comfortable, valued. It builds immediate rapport.
So politeness isn't just manners, it's strategic in a way.
In a good way, yes.
Yeah.
And then there's clear speech. This isn't about using big fancy words. It's about speaking slowly enough, clearly, articulating, making sure people don't have to strain to understand you. There was a speaker mentioned who got a huge applause, not because he used complex jargon, but because he spoke carefully, deliberately. His ideas were accessible to everyone because he prioritized being understood.
Clarity over cleverness, essentially.
Exactly.
Okay, so it's this mix of respect, clarity, and I guess that also links to just showing up properly. Being present and prepared seems like a big piece, too.
A huge piece. And punctuality is key there. Being on time, or even a little early, it's a silent way of saying, I value your time. I value this interaction.
Mm-hmm.
The source contrasts someone showing up like 20 minutes late with no message creates stress, right? Sure. With Joseph, who came early to a meeting and even helped set up chairs. That simple act showed commitment, earned him respect before anything official even started.
Little things, but they speak volumes. So all these elements, the body language, the words, the timing, they seem to build up to something bigger. The power of your attitude.
That's the core of it, really.
Yeah.
Confidence and a positive attitude often matter more than perfect grammar. It's about believing you belong there and genuinely wanting to connect. Think about Uncle Rashid at that business meeting. He was nervous about his English, apparently. But instead of shrinking, he smiled, kept eye contact, made a little joke about traffic. Someone later told him he was the friendliest person there. Not because his English was perfect.
No, it was because his attitude was open and warm.
Exactly. He led with warmth. So, yeah, key takeaways for that first impression. Smile genuinely, use those polite words, listen, use open body language, look neat, be on time, speak clearly. It sets a great foundation.
That's a really solid foundation. But okay, you've made a good first impression. That's the start. How do you then keep that connection going? How do you, keep the conversation ball rolling?
Right, moving from opening the door to actually building something,
Mm-hmm.
It really comes down to active and engaged listening. It's not just passively hearing. It's showing you're taking it in, valuing it.
More than just nodding along.
Oh, yeah. It's nodding, sure, but also keeping eye contact, maybe leaning in slightly, making small verbal cues like Okay. Oh, interesting. It encourages the other person. Like Emma, who made her friend feel really heard just by paying close attention, reflecting understanding, made the friend want to share more.
Okay, so showing you're tracking and then asking questions.
Yes, but specifically asking follow-up questions. That shows real curiosity. The example of James learning Lisa was from Birmingham. He didn't just say, oh, nice. He asked something like, what's something you really like about living there?
Digging a bit deeper.
Exactly. It shows genuine interest, moves beyond surface facts. That little exchange apparently led to a good friendship.
I like that. It's about being genuinely curious, not just filling silence. So let's dig into those questioning techniques a bit more. What makes a good question in a conversation?
Well, the big thing is using open questions. Questions that start with what, how, why, or phrases like tell me about. They need more than a simple yes or no answer. Think about Paul and Sarah talking about their weekends. Instead of did you have a good weekend, which gets a yes or no. Paul asked something like, what was the best part of your weekend? That opened the door for Sarah to talk about hiking, and then they found a shared interest. It invites stories, details.
Right, it gives the other person space to talk.
Precisely. And then there's asking appropriate personal questions. Gently asking about family, hobbies, things like that can build connection. But you have to be careful, gauge the situation. Don't get too personal too quickly, like Michael talking about his daughter starting school, instead of just, asking something like, oh, wow, is she excited? How is she finding it? Shows empathy. It connects on a human level, but gently.
So it's about showing interest in their experience, not just facts. But conversation is a two-way street, isn't it? It can't just be an interrogation. Let's talk about reciprocity.
Absolutely crucial. You need to share your own information too. After someone shares something, offer a little related story or piece of information about yourself. It balances things out, shows you're willing to be open to.
Makes it feel less like an interview.
Exactly. Robert, the travel example. Someone mentioned a trip, and instead of just nodding, he shared a quick, relevant anecdote about his own trip to the Lake District. Not to take over, but just to offer something back. Makes it friendly, easier. Like Anna and Mark swapping stories about exercise and nice back and forth.
Okay, so share a little, ask a little.
Okay.
Right, got it. And what about those nonverbal cues we talked about earlier? Do they still matter once the conversation is flowing?
Oh, definitely. Body language is always communicating. Keeping that open posture facing them, arms relaxed, maintaining eye contact, though maybe looking away briefly now and then so it's not intense, and using a calm, friendly tone. It all signals you're still engaged, still listening. The guide contrasts John, who spoke calmly, smiled, made people feel comfortable talking to him, with Tom, who apparently kept looking at his phone and mumbled. Tom's nonverbals just shut the conversation down, made people feel disconnected. Subtly, it makes a huge difference to how long people want to talk to you.
Yeah, you can feel when someone's checked out, even if they're still technically there. Okay, but conversations aren't always smooth sailing. What about navigating those tricky bits? Common challenges like interruptions or misunderstandings.
Good point. There are ways to handle those gracefully. For polite interruptions or topic changes, use bridging phrases like, sorry to cut in, but that reminds me, or that's really interesting, could I ask something about that? Andrew, in the football discussion, is a good example. He didn't understand a rule. Instead of just being quiet or pretending, he politely said something like, excuse me, I'm trying to follow. Could someone explain that rule? It actually improved the chat for everyone because he showed genuine interest.
Honesty and politeness combined. Okay. What about when you don't understand what someone said?
Be patient with misunderstanding. Don't just say, what? Politely ask for clarification. Something like, sorry, could you say that again? Or even better, I want to make sure I understood correctly. Or could you explain that term? It shows respect, shows you want to understand.
And awkward silences, they happen.
They do. And they're okay. Don't feel you have to frantically fill every gap. Sometimes a pause is natural. But if it feels like it's dragging, maybe make a simple observation about your surroundings, like Peter with Lucy in the park. This is a nice park. Do you come here often? Low pressure, based on the shared environment. Gets things moving again gently.
That makes sense. Okay, so pulling this all together, all these techniques for starting and continuing conversations, it feels like they all rest on two core things: politeness and confidence.
They really do. They're the foundations. Let's unpack politeness a bit more. It's not just about saying the right words. It's an underlying attitude of respect. We mentioned please and thank you, like Anna at the restaurant getting better service because she was genuinely polite. But it's also proper greetings and goodbyes.
Like David welcoming Emily to the neighborhood?
Exactly. That warmth matters.
Yeah.
And saying a proper goodbye, appreciating the chat, it leaves a good final impression. Politeness is also respectful listening, really trying not to interrupt. And if you must, using excuse me or sorry to interrupt.
And using names, you mentioned that earlier.
Yes, using names makes it personal. Like Sarah remembering and using Michael's name, it shows you're paying attention, makes the other person feel seen. And softening questions using, could you, would you mind, may I ask? It feels less demanding, like Paul asking his teacher for help gently.
Right, and owning mistakes.
Absolutely. Apologizing sincerely if you mess up, like Lucy forgetting Thomas's name and just saying, oh, I'm so sorry I forgot your name. Could you tell me again? It smooths things over instantly. And a big one, respecting opinions, even if you disagree.
How does that look in practice?
Listen fully first. Acknowledge their point. Okay, I understand where you're coming from. Then state your view politely. But I wonder if we could also consider this. Like James, in that meeting, keeping it constructive. And finally, avoiding sensitive topics with people you don't know well.
Steer clear of money, politics, deep personal stuff initially.
Right. Stick to safer ground weather, hobbies, work, food. Like Emma and Richard did. Keep it comfortable. Build trust first.
Okay, so that's politeness as a deep strategy. What about the other pillar, confidence? It seems crucial, but maybe hard to grasp. It's not about being arrogant, right?
Not at all. Confidence is more internal. It's believing you have value to add, that it's okay to be there, okay to speak. It starts with your mindset. Tell yourself positive things. Peter's example. I am friendly. I want to connect. Reframe nerves as excitement. And importantly, don't fear mistakes. They're just learning opportunities.
Easier said than done sometimes.
True, but preparation helps enormously. Just thinking through a couple of simple questions beforehand, like Andrew did for those events, it gives you a starting point. Reduces that, what do I say?
Yeah.
Anxiety and honesty. It's okay to say, I don't know.
Yeah, pretending you know everything isn't confident, it's just stressful.
Exactly. Saying, I'm not sure, but I'd like to learn more is actually very confident. And keep it simple. Use words you know well. Don't try to impress with vocabulary you might stumble over. Clarity is confidence.
And practice.
Oh, huge. Practice is key. Speak English every day, even if it's just talking to yourself, summarizing an article, anything. Emma practiced with her husband for months, and it made a real difference to how comfortable she felt. It builds fluency, makes the words come easier.
So it becomes more automatic.
Right. And be patient with yourself. Learning takes time. Celebrate the small wins, like John slowly making friends in a new city just by saying hello consistently. Small steps add up. And always, always aim for polite endings.
Leave them with a good feeling.
Yes. Something like, it was really nice chatting with you. I hope we read again. Like James said to Claire, it ends on a positive, open note.
Wow. Okay, so this deep dive really shows that mastering conversations, it isn't about complex rules or perfect speaking. It's more about simple, respectful habits and that inner feeling of, well, politeness and confidence working together, building connection habit by habit.
That's a great way to put it. So maybe the question for you listening now is, what's just one small thing from all this? Maybe a specific kind of open question, trying that genuine smile more often, or even just a simple thanks for the chat at the end. What's one small habit you'll consciously practice this week? See if it helps build a new connection. Or maybe just make an existing one feel a little bit better.